Hello everyone, and welcome to the channel. Before we dive into today's story, we just wanted to take a quick second to say thank you all for watching. We truly appreciate your support. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. It's totally free, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest stories. Now, with all that said, let's jump straight into the story.
I can still taste the stale freedom of that last day. June in Oakhaven High was a swampy blanket, thick with the scent of chlorine from the pool and the nervous sweat of impending adulthood. We were the graduating class, the triumphant victors, ready to shed the shackles of standardized tests and adolescent angst. Or at least that's what we told ourselves. Our group was a predictable cocktail of high school archetypes. There was Jake, the star quarterback, perpetually grinning like he'd just won another game. Chloe, the overachiever, whose perfectly highlighted notes seemed to mock my own scribbled chaos. Ben, the class clown, whose jokes were often funnier than they were appropriate. Sarah, the brooding goth, always draped in black and armed with a cynical wit. And then there was me, Liam, the loner, content to observe from the periphery, a quiet passenger on this roller coaster of teenage experience. The legend of the East Wing was as much a part of Oakhaven High as the faded maroon and gold paint. 20 years ago, a fire had ripped through it, claiming the lives of a history teacher, Mr. Hawthorne, and 3 students. The official story was faulty wiring, but the whispers were far more elaborate. Satanic rituals gone wrong, vengeful spirits, even a deranged student with a penchant for pyrotechnics. Every year, the tale grew taller, fueled by the fertile imaginations of bored teenagers. "So who's in?" Ben asked, his eyes gleaming with mischief. We were huddled by the bleachers after the final bell, the air buzzing with the energy of release. "In for what, exactly?" Chloe asked, meticulously adjusting her graduation stole. "The East Wing, of course," Ben said, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. "Last day, last chance to prove we're not just a bunch of scared underclassmen." Jake puffed out his chest. "I'm not scared of some ghost stories." Sarah raised a perfectly sculpted eyebrow. "Oh please. You probably still sleep with a night light." "Do not." Jake retorted, a blush creeping up his neck. The dare hung in the air, thick and heavy. I knew it was stupid, reckless even, but a part of me was drawn to the darkness, the allure of the unknown. Besides, what did I have to lose? "I'm in," I surprised myself by saying. And just like that, the pact was made. We met back at the school after dark, the moon a sliver in the inky sky. The East Wing loomed like a skeletal giant, its darkened windows staring out like vacant eyes. The air around it was noticeably colder, a stark contrast to the humid summer night. The main doors were locked, but Jake, ever the resourceful jock, managed to pry open a window with a rusty crowbar he'd borrowed from his dad's garage. We slipped inside, the silence broken only by our nervous breaths. The air inside was thick with dust and the scent of something that had died months ago. Lockers stood like rusted sentinels, their doors hanging open, revealing glimpses of forgotten textbooks and crumpled papers. The classrooms were dark and cavernous, the blackboard still bearing faint traces of long-ago lessons. "Okay, this is creepy," Chloe whispered, her voice barely audible. "Relax, it's just an old building," Jake said, trying to sound braver than he looked. We moved deeper into the wing, the darkness pressing in on us. It started subtly. A flickering light at the end of the hallway. A door slamming shut with a resounding bang. We jumped, our hearts pounding in our chests. Then things started to get personal. I was examining a dusty bookshelf when I noticed a yearbook lying open on a table. It was from the year of the fire. I flipped through the pages, my eyes scanning the faces of the doomed students. And then I saw it. My name, scrawled in faded ink, beneath a photograph of a boy with haunted eyes. The boy looked vaguely like me, but wrong. Like a distorted reflection. A scream pierced the silence. It was Chloe. We found her huddled in a corner, staring at an old test paper on which she'd cheated. Only the name on the paper wasn't hers. It was Mr. Hawthorne's. And the failing grade was marked with a red F. One by one we were separated. Ben, lured by the sound of laughter, disappeared down a hallway. Jake, drawn to the gymnasium, found himself face to face with a spectral football team, their eyes burning with an eerie green light. Sarah, always drawn to the morbid, stumbled upon a makeshift altar in a forgotten classroom, adorned with candles and strange symbols. Alone in the library, I started to piece things together. The East Wing wasn't just haunted. It was a trap. A repository of unfinished business, of regrets and secrets. The spirits weren't random. They were drawn to our own personal demons, our own hidden transgressions. And they wanted us to join them. Then I saw it. An old newspaper clipping, yellowed and brittle, detailing the events of the fire. The names of the victims were listed: Mr. Hawthorne, Emily Carter, Mark Thompson, and Liam Walker. My blood ran cold. Liam Walker? But that was my name. Suddenly, the details of my life felt hazy, like a dream half remembered. I couldn't recall specific events, just a general sense of existing. A cold voice whispered in my ear, "You don't belong here, Liam. You belong with us." I turned to see a figure standing behind me, its face obscured by shadows. It reached out a skeletal hand, its touch like ice. "Who are you?" I stammered. "I am you," it hissed. "The you they forgot." The truth hit me like a physical blow. I had died last year. A tragic accident, a forgotten secret. The school, in its twisted way, had rewritten my existence, erasing me from the memories of everyone I knew. But the East Wing remembered. I had to warn the others. They were in danger, trapped by their own guilt and the malevolent energy of the school. But how could I save them when I didn't even exist? Driven by a desperate surge of adrenaline, I ran through the corridors, calling out their names. I found Ben huddled in a corner, muttering about a joke that had gone too far, a cruel prank that had driven a student to the brink. Jake was wrestling with spectral football players, each accusing him of stealing their glory. Chloe was surrounded by ghostly test papers, her face contorted with guilt. I tried to reason with them, to shake them out of their trance, but my words seemed to fall on deaf ears. They were too consumed by their own personal hells. Sarah was the only one who seemed to hear me. She was standing before the altar, her eyes wide with a mixture of fear and fascination. "Liam? Is that you?" she asked, her voice barely a whisper. "We have to get out of here," I said urgently. "This place wants to keep us, to trap us in its cycle of misery." "But how?" she asked. "We have to confront our secrets, tell the truth," I said. "That's the only way to break free." Sarah hesitated for a moment, then took a deep breath. "I saw them," she said, her voice trembling. "I saw who started the fire." She confessed to witnessing 2 students, fueled by a petty rivalry with Mr. Hawthorne, setting fire to his classroom. She had kept silent out of fear, the guilt festering within her for years. As Sarah spoke, the room around us began to tremble. The altar flickered and died, the shadows receding. A glimmer of hope flickered within me. Together, Sarah and I found Ben and Jake and forced them to confront the darkness they had been running from. Ben confessed his cruel prank, Jake acknowledged his arrogance and selfishness. With each confession, the East Wing seemed to weaken, its grip on us loosening. We reached the main entrance, the door creaking open as if by an unseen hand. We stumbled out into the night, gasping for breath, the cool air a welcome relief. As we stood there, catching our breath, I glanced back at the East Wing. Its windows were dark and silent, its secrets once again buried within its decaying walls. But something was wrong. "Where's Chloe?" Sarah asked, her voice tight with worry. We searched for her, calling out her name, but there was no response. She was gone, swallowed by the darkness of the East Wing. Perhaps her guilt was too great, her secrets too deeply buried. Or perhaps she simply chose to stay. We left Oakhaven High that night, forever changed by what we had experienced. We had faced our demons, confronted our pasts, and emerged, scarred but alive. As for me, I still exist. The school couldn't completely erase me. But I'm different. I remember dying, remember the forgotten life, and now I live with the chilling knowledge of that second chance. I see the world through a slightly different lens, haunted by the ghost of who I once was. The East Wing remains sealed, a silent testament to the secrets that lie buried within its walls. And every year, on the last day of school, another group of unsuspecting seniors will dare each other to enter its darkness, unaware of the horrors that await them. Because the East Wing never forgets. It waits. And it remembers. And next year it will be waiting for someone new. And maybe, just maybe, it will find another Liam Walker lost in the shadows of the past.
Ready for spine-chilling tales that will haunt your thoughts? Subscribe to Forgotten Storyteller for eerie narrations, unsettling mysteries, and haunting stories you won't forget. Hit the bell icon so you never miss a story, because some stories refuse to stay buried. Join us, if you dare.